Trump couldn't stand it anymore, finally gave in. April 23rd. Trump publicly stated that he would not take a tough stance against China. He also said that the 145% tariff was too high. In the future, tariffs will be greatly reduced. What is even more jaw-dropping is that he actually said that he wanted to live happily with China. I almost thought I had misheard this. Is this still the Trump who shouted for extreme pressure before? From extreme pressure to tit-for-tat, and finally to light-speed luxury, Trump's transformation took only 20 days. Seeing this, we have to admit that the once invincible United States is now really old. Why do I say this? It is obvious that Trump's surrender this time was forced to breed by three major reasons. First of all, Trump is now in a situation of being abandoned by his friends and relatives both at home and abroad in the United States. According to statistics from the US media, Trump's approval rating has dropped sharply to 42%, which has dropped to the lowest level since he took office. What does this approval rating mean? Let me put it this way. When Biden first came to power 4 years ago, it was almost at this level. At that time, Biden was called one of the presidents with the fastest collapse in approval rating in American history. At that time, Trump even laughed at him. But for years later, this boomerang hit him on the head. Now Trump doesn't dare to go out often. Why? Because since he started the tariff war, there have been protests in the United States, wave after wave. It's not just the Democratic Party supporters who oppose him. Even the American rednecks have begun to rebel. The reason behind this is very simple, that is, the price increase is too outrageous. A pair of sneakers has increased by $100, a new car has increased by $10,000, and the price of a box of eggs has doubled. The prices of rice, flour, game consoles, beer, televisions, snacks, and other things are all rising. And the increase is not small. The US media predicts that if the tariff war continues, the US Consumer Price Index will directly rise by 2.9% in the short term, and clothing prices will soar by 60%. This is only a short-term impact. If it really goes as Trump said, and it lasts for 1 or 2 years, then the prices in the United States will double. By then, the people will be crazy. You talk to the American rednecks about the hegemony of the US dollar and the world hegemony. They don't understand at all, and they don't care. They only know that after Trump took office, their wallets have become more and more expensive. It is getting more and more difficult. Life is getting harder and harder. And for some rednecks, they are facing more than just rising prices. As the tariff war continues to escalate, we are also constantly looking for new substitutes. We used to buy soybeans from the United States, but now we go directly to Brazil. We used to import oil from the United States, but now we go to Canada, the neighbor of the United States. We used to import beef from the United States, but now Australia and Argentina have become new options. As for natural gas, we bypass the United States and buy from Russia and the United Arab Emirates. American farmers saw this situation and were completely panicked. Their income plummeted and prices soared. Under this double pressure, no political slogans are useful. They are now looking forward to Trump ending the tariff war as soon as possible. According to statistics from the US media, since the tariff war started, Trump's support rate among voters in agricultural states has dropped by 14 percentage points. These are all his die-hard supporters, but now they have rebelled. Trump's backyard is completely on fire. Not only do farmers oppose it, but the governor of California is also going to sue Trump. He said it very bluntly. He said that 80% of the toys under his foot children's Christmas trees are from China. Trump is imposing tariffs like this war. Americans can't even have a good Christmas. For Americans, it's just like we can't buy Spring Festival couplets and firecrackers during the Spring Festival. That's too serious. Musk has also repeatedly criticized Trump's tariff war. The Federal Reserve is even more tough. It directly confronts Trump to the end. There is a lot of opposition in the United States. The United States allies are not idle either. They have collectively rebelled. Japan has sold off a large number of US bonds. The Canadian Prime Minister said that he would resolutely resist Trump's tariff policy. The British government also clearly stated that it refuses to decouple from China. Look at this scene. This is the real version of the righteous will have many supporters, and the unrighteous will have few supporters. Trump is now completely abandoned by his friends and relatives. I know some people will say that Trump is the President of the United States. He holds great power and the three powers are combined. He can ignore these opposition voices and suppress these remarks. That being said, Trump is indeed powerful now. He can pretend not to hear the opposition voices from the public and other countries. But can he watch the financial collapse in the United States? Of course not, because it involves the interests of the capital chaebols behind the scenes. Those Chunlong people hiding behind the scenes will not let Trump mess around. As we all know, some time ago, the United States experienced a situation of a triple meltdown in stocks, bonds, and the exchange rate. What exactly is a triple meltdown in stocks, bonds, and the exchange rate? Simply put, it means that three important indicators of a country, namely the stock market, the bond market, and the exchange rate, collapse simultaneously. Once this happens, it implies that the world has a comprehensive negative view of the US economy and the US dollar hegemony. This is a major event that shakes the foundation of the United States. After the last triple meltdown in stocks, bonds, and the exchange rate, Trump immediately suspended tariff policies on many countries. He knew that if he continued like this, the US economy would collapse. However, he didn't expect that this situation of a triple meltdown in stocks, bonds, and the exchange rate would occur again recently. At the beginning of this week, the US dollar index directly dropped below 98, and the US stock and bond markets also declined significantly. Relevant institutions predict that the wealth of the entire United States has evaporated by trillions of US dollars in an extremely short period. Trump may not care about the lives of the American rednecks, but he has to take care of the interests of the bigwigs behind him. In this situation, he has no choice but to back down and quickly stabilize the domestic situation in the United States. There is another important reason for Trump's dramatic change in attitude, and that is our tough stance, which has exceeded his expectations. At first, Trump had a beautiful plan. He increased tariffs to 145% in an attempt to use this as a bargaining chip to negotiate with us and make us agree to his proposed conditions. This kind of tactic is common in business negotiations. For example, when you negotiate a business deal with someone and your expected price is $1 million, you definitely won't offer $1 million right from the start because the other party will surely bargain. So you might start with an offer of $2 million and then negotiate slowly, ultimately aiming to make a profit of $1 million. As a shrewd businessman, Trump understands this set of tricks. Therefore, he increased tariffs to 145%, and his real purpose might be to stabilize the tariffs at around 40% to 50% through negotiations or to extort us into significantly purchasing their debt. In short, tariffs are just a bargaining chip for him, and his real goals lie in other areas. However, he never expected that we completely ignored his actions. We directly stated publicly that we would not pay attention to his tariff figures. It's as if an adult is watching a child acting up and simply ignores him. Trump's calculations have completely failed, and he has no choice but to quickly find a way to save face. Despite Trump's usual erratic behavior, as a businessman, he still has a relatively strong sense of risk control. When he saw that the situation was not right, he knew he should stop in time to prevent the situation from deteriorating further. Take this tariff war as an example. After it has been going on for so long, the relationship between China and the United States has become extremely tense, almost on the verge of a complete decoupling. Even US military bombers have arrived in Japan. If the situation continues to deteriorate, no one can guarantee what will happen. Therefore, it is very necessary to cool down the relationship between the two countries at this time. The top-level figures in the United States also understand this in their hearts. They currently have no advantage in directly confronting us. A few days ago, the chairman of the US House of Representatives Armed Services Committee publicly questioned whether accelerating the delivery of US weapons could deter us. Do you know how the US Indo-Pacific Command responded? He was silent for several seconds first and then said that increasing defensive investment was a more cost-effective and rational choice. After he finished speaking, the whole room fell silent. What does this indicate? In the eyes of the top military leaders in the United States, they can only adopt defensive measures against us now. American politicians may not understand our strength, but American military personnel definitely know how powerful we are. In this situation, blindly worsening the relationship between the two countries is definitely not a wise move. So Trump's quick attempt to back down is also a helpless choice. However, we currently have extreme distrust of Trump, and this is normal. After all, he has gone back on his word more than once. He comes up with new tricks every day. Who knows if he will turn his back on us tomorrow? Therefore, from our perspective, regardless of what Trump says, our bottom line is clear. Even if there were no United States in the world, we would still establish a new trade circle. The Earth is so vast, with 8 billion people in the world. The Earth will still rotate without anyone. We have the confidence and the strength. We will develop at our own pace and see what other tricks Trump can play.